Enemy fighters have been spotted on radar. We want to go ahead and tag those fellows. Have our gunners at work there. We're coming in a bit too hot, unfortunately, to make this first bombing run. Welcome everybody to Let's Play Bomber Crew. As always, I'm your host, J2John Jeremy, and in this game, we'll be taking on the role of bombardiers, trying to put a stop to those dastardly Nazis during World War II. There are two campaigns to this game here. One was included in the base game, and one added as DLC. We'll be playing the base campaign first, and then see if we want to move on to the secondary one. Let's go ahead and click on campaign here. Now the base game campaign, like I said, comes included with the game. There is a secondary campaign, the USAAF campaign, which was added on as DLC after the game's release. So we've got our base campaign here. We're going to go ahead and click a new game and skip the tutorial. That would start us out from scratch. And we'll go ahead and overwrite this mission here, as that was our kind of test bench. And soon we will arrive at our base, RAF Woodbridge. We've got a clean slate here. 0 missions flown, 0 enemy fighters destroyed, 0 miles flown, 0 targets destroyed, 0 bombers lost, 0 crew lost. We've not spent any funds, nor taken any recon photos, and of course, not rescued any crew members. Now, if we take a look at the recruit section here, we can see that our crew is currently full. So the game has given us some crew. Let's find out exactly who we've got. Alright, so in the game, we take control of a certain number of crewmen, and then these crewmen will go ahead and run our bomber plane. We've got our pilot here, Janet Davies. There is no historical accuracy here, so keep in mind of that. There are both female and male crew here in the game. Janet Davies here is a pilot level 1, almost level 2 here it looks like. She's got armor of 15, speed 93%. She's got slight thermal protection that will help us out against the cold once we rise to higher elevations during combat. No oxygen, and very slim survival chances. Keep in mind also that all of these people were pretty much drafted, so they're not military personnel. Janet here is 30 years old, and she's a jeweler when she's a civilian. So we've got that. Now, we can in fact purchase gear for these personnel. She's wearing currently the starter flight set. If we had enough, we can set her up with the basic flight set, but instead we'll have to take a look to see if we have other options available to them. So we can put on some winter jumpers, which are basically sweaters. That will increase her survivability slightly and increase her warmth. It would cost £35 and £245 to equip them to all personnel, but no other suit available to them. Headgear. Again, we've got the leather flying helmet, Mark 1. We've also got options for winter hats, but unfortunately we need to actually research the winter hats first, it looks like, before we can actually put them on. Oxygen. We need to research small bottles, so unfortunately no oxygen available. She's currently wearing a light flak vest. If we took it away, she'd increase her speed, but decrease her defense and her warmth and her survivability. Gloves, we need to research some gloves, and same with boots. So, basically what it comes down to is our personnel are going to be putting on some sweaters just for the basic warmth of it all, unless we want to hold off and try and get a thermal flight suit going here. It's £245 to equip all that to each of our personnel for only minimal increases. So we'll actually hold off on that. But let's continue to meet our crew. So we've got Pilot Sergeant Janet Davies. We've got Engineer Melvin McKay. He's mid-level. We're at level 1. Armor is better than Janet's, though. He's also got the same thermals, survivability. We have Eileen Morrison, who is our navigator. See, McKay was a stonemason. Eileen Morrison is a motor car enthusiast. She likes to go fast. We have Don Wingrove. He is our radio operator. He's a scout troop leader. Oh, good for him. We've got Julia Hamilton. Julia here's a bog snorkeler. Never been in a bog? Don't want to be in a bog. So, all the more power to you, Julia. We've got, she's actually got some nice thermal protection too. Better than everybody else so far. And some oxygen on top of that. Where are you? And survivability increases. What you up to there, Julia? Is it because you're a bog snorkeler? I'm guessing so. We've got James McDonald, a dog breeder. And then finally, Jane Gibbons, a plasterer. She's our bombardier. So we've got 2 gunners, radio operator, bombardier, navigator, engineer, and pilot. All right, we've met our crew. Now we can, and we will, change the names of these characters here, starting with the next episode. So if you are interested in becoming a member of this crew, let me know in the comments below, and we will try to include as many of you all as possible. Now, the end goal, hopefully, unfortunately, would be to have this same crew throughout the entire campaign. Something tells me, however, that that is a fantasy, unfortunately, and that we will be needing to replace some personnel over the course of time. C'est la vie. Let's take a look at our training for pilots here. Now notice each of these characters will have a primary skill, and each of those skills have some traits that they can unlock over the course of time. They also have a secondary skill slot that unlocks at level 7. So Janet here, as a pilot, has emergency land and bail out. Melvin here, as an engineer, has no current traits unlocked. His secondary skill, though, unlocks at level 5 instead of 7. Eileen, no extra traits for the navigator. She only has actually 2 extra traits there as an option, and then her secondary skill unlocks at 5. Radio operator, again, 5 unlocked. Gunners have another trait there, but nothing accessible for both Julia and James. And then finally, Jane, bomb aimer, her secondary skill unlocks at level 3. So if, let's say, for example, Jane here gets to level 3, she gets to choose a secondary skill. We could have her be an extra gunner, for example, or an extra engineer, as an example, and then they would get the options to unlock those traits as well. Got it? Good. Now, let's take a look at our plane. Okay, so here's our plane. And over the course of our campaign, hopefully, the same plane will be upgraded with better equipment. We've got 2,000 pounds here to spend if we wanted to try and do anything with her right now. Her name right now is called Flak Magnet. We'll change that in a moment, but let's take a look here. So we've got base paint options. She's got classic camo currently on. We can change that to a variety of different skins that are available. Most of these skins, truthfully, were purchased via DLC because that's what I do. Turtle shell is pretty interesting. Woodland camo is pretty funny. Aluminum, Battleship Gray, Birmingham Blitzkrieg D-Day, North Africa camo. Pumpkin Spice was given out during the Halloween. Raspberry Ripple, Shackleton Subhunter, Submarine Blue, and the Little Gramper. I kind of like Golden Eagle. It's too shiny. Same with Pearl. Let's go with the aluminum. You can also change like the nose art that's available on it. As you can see here, it adds the logos there. or we can custom create our own by doing this. So it just kind of adds in, as you can see here, kind of a logo effect on top of each other. Which I don't really know if I want to do that, so we won't save that. No logo here necessary. Get out of that. Uninstall that. No logo. Thank you. Engine art, same thing. Wing art, same thing. And waste text, you can actually name the plane, put words on it. Our engines now, we can upgrade these engines over the course of time. We have standard engine Mark 1 across all 4 of our engines here. Can't research anything else, unfortunately. Notice that it adds the weight limit of our plane, which is important for us because as we add things like armor and guns, we'll increase the weight of the plane. So we need more powerful engines to support that new weight. So right now our current weight is 1465. Our weight maximum is 2000. Alright, gun turrets. We have a tail turret. We've got no ventral turret, so nothing below us on the underbelly of the craft. We've got a mid-upper turret, and we've got a nose turret. So the question is, do we want to spend some money to add the ventral turret, which is 1750, to add the ventral turret to this plane? Let's see what else we can spend it on first before we do that, but it's definitely certainly an option. Electrical system Mark 1, we'll want to upgrade that over time. The electrical system powers the radio operator station and including the radar. If we were to lose electrical power, we wouldn't be able to tag. If we can't tag, we can't fight. So, kind of a problem. Hydraulics here powers the landing gear, the bomb bay doors, and our gun turrets aiming systems. So say for example we've got a enemy fighter shooting overhead and then suddenly they go to our underbelly, or they turn around, our gunners can't, if the hydraulics are out, they can't turn their turrets, so they can't fire at them. So hydraulics are important. Radar is also important. What you do when you increase your radar is you just basically decrease the sweep time and increase its range, which we use to spot enemy fighters and submarines. The farther away we can spot enemy fighters, the quicker we can tag them, and the quicker our gunners can get to shooting them. Sounds simple enough, right? Extinguishers. Every now and again, our plane may catch on fire. It's a thing. So extinguishers, built into the engines themselves, allow us to extinguish those fires automatically. Not automatically per se, we do have to press a button to do it, but it's better than having no extinguishers. If we don't have extinguishers on the plane, there are a couple of options just in case we want to try and save the engine. Otherwise, eventually the engine will fail and potentially even fall off the plane. It is a thing. Oxygen tanks. Right now we have an oxygen tank Mark 1. It supplies the oxygen to the crew at the stations. Simple enough. And then finally, fuel tanks. The aircraft's fuel tanks provide fuel to the engines. You can run out of fuel during a mission, and if you do so, you will lose control of the plane and it will plummet. Doesn't necessarily mean the death of everyone aboard, but it is a bad thing. You probably don't want to do that. Our equipment. Right now we've got one slot available for our equipment, which we're using right now for a med kit. That means if a crew member goes down during the mission, one of our crew is able to pick them up using this med kit. We have an option instead to put in a parachute if we wanted to, which means one of our crew would be able to bail out of the plane. Let's say, for example, if we knew it was going down, one crew would at least, we would know, survive. And then finally, extinguishers. If there was a fire aboard the plane itself, again, on the engines, we would be able to use the extinguisher to put it out. We're going to go ahead and keep the first aid kit for right now. And we have a option for a secondary one-slot equipment rack here. We're going to go ahead and put another first aid kit there. So 2 first aid kits. We can add a 3rd equipment slot here for 1,000 and a 4th equipment slot here for 2,000. Near the front of the plane, I do want to install it and add in the extinguisher, just in case. And then here in the equipment slot rack, we're going to add in another first aid kit. So we're going to have 3 first aid kits to start and a fire extinguisher. No parachutes, so we're planning, hopefully, on ensuring that our plane survives its first couple of missions until we gain more money. Our fuselage here, we've got a standard fuselage. We can armor up our fuselage over the course of time, providing more protection to our crew inside. Same with our front, mid, rear, tail, and wings. Each of them have different options for armor. Or even, I believe, to make them more lighter for faster and less weight at the expense of armor. Finally, survival. Say, for example, you went down. Your plane went down. Let's say you decided to go for a water landing. There are different options that are available for you for survival to try and increase the survivability of your crew. A pigeon here, I believe, if I recall correctly, because we can't click on it to research it yet. A pigeon allows you a better chance of survival if your crew ditches on land, if you're forced to make an emergency landing. If your crew ditches in the water, then there's a raft option as well. So there are different options that are available to you to try and increase the survivability of your crew. Got it. All right. That's the aircraft. We've spent our monies. We have 0 monies now. We have 0 experience slash, I guess, XP, well, I don't know what you would call it. The thing that makes things researchable. We'll call it that. Research points. There you go. Let's move on to our briefing. All right, so here is the main campaign. Now, in the main campaign, the game is going to give us 3 different missions, sometimes 2, sometimes more. At the start, they'll be easy to medium. As we progress, they'll get harder and harder. We also have enemy fighter aces that we need to worry about. These aircraft and these pilots here are very dangerous to us. We really don't want to encounter them this early in the game. Not without upgrading our craft first, because they will shoot us down. They are pretty good at what they do. We have Felix Federer, Gunnar Gunther, Franz and Fritz Blitzer, Donna Kiel, and Nico Nachtzeher. You can see he's wearing like a special mask here. He's part of another DLC pack, which we do have installed in-game. Okay, so main campaign, 3 missions. Our first option here is the motor factory at Zeebrugge. They want us to knock out an enemy motor factory in Belgium. It's a short duration mission and low risk. Our completion reward would be 150 research points and 1,200 pounds. Our safe return bonus, if we were to bring our plane back, would be 100 research points and 800 pounds. So 2,000 pounds altogether potential, and then 250 research points. Option number 2 is the Taut battery ammo dumps. Short duration, low risk. Completion reward again, same. However, this does give us a bonus perk if we choose to complete this mission first. This bonus perk does change. Different options are available to it, but this particular perk is the enemy damage goes down for the next 2 missions. So if we finish this mission first, and we take on the other 2 missions, we can expect lesser damage. That sounds like a good thing. Finally, search and rescue. Short duration, low risk, same amount of reward. Here we have to rescue a Spitfire pilot who had to run over the channel and had to ditch. So we will rescue somebody here in this mission. I think what we'll do for our very first mission is we're going to go for the perk. The Taut battery has been raining down artillery on the English coast. Our current bombs aren't able to penetrate it, but we can starve it of ammunition. Destroy the ammo dumps supplying the guns. Alright, that's our mission. Let's get started. Now we'll start off, obviously, at the airbase. We will have to take off. We want to make sure our crew is ready to go. So each of our crew is in their positions. We can select each one of our crew and move them around if we wanted to. Say, for example, we wanted Hamilton here to move. We can just drop and click them, depending on where we wanted them to go. Everyone's in their positions, so that's good. We now can click on takeoff here to get us underway. Before we do that, though, let's go ahead and what we do is called tagging. We're going to set our heading toward where the game wants us to go. Heading is now confirmed. We're going to go ahead and take off now. And we are underway. We're going to zoom out here. Watch this plane take off. Very cool. Raise our gear. Notice the options that are available to us for the pilot. We have abort, emergency land, and bailout. Look at our O2 gauge and the current temperature outside. We've got our radar to our bottom right. We've reached low altitude now. We're going to go ahead and rise up to medium altitude. All of our current equipment shows green. Our airplane is in perfect health. We've got a new heading. We want to go ahead and adjust to that. Our navigator will give us these directions as we go. And then we need to course correct with our pilot. Now, as our pilot grows in her rank, her leveling, we'll get the extra skills over here in the maneuvers section. And that goes the same for everybody else. They'll get different options available to them based on their job. Visibility to ground is currently 50 some odd % and falling. That's as we're rising up to bigger heights. We're crossing the English Channel and making our way over to German territory, German-held territory. So we want to be careful here. We probably won't be able to... Oh, we've got a hazard. We want to watch out for that. Don't go there. Actually, we do need to go there. That's where we're going to bomb. We have 2 ammo storages we need to bomb. We go ahead and lower ourselves. Click on Gibbons here as our bombardier. Enemy fighters have been spotted on radar. We want to go ahead and tag those fellows. Have our gunners at work there. We're coming in a bit too hot, unfortunately, to make this first bombing run. We're going to go ahead now and continue onwards. There's a recon opportunity there. We needed to take a picture. And we need to actually move one of our gunners needs to actually go into the there we go, into the bomb bay. That's what we missed last time. There's 2 picture opportunities. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and take some photos here and get some extra monies available to us. That's a good photo taken. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the next photo here. Not too much flak. Should be okay. We've got more enemy fighters, though. That is a problem. Tagging. Alright, our gunner is at work. We've got the second photo ready to go. Second photo is good. Excellent. We're going to go ahead and turn around now and make our way back over toward the bombing areas we need to get to. Keep an eye on our plane. Keep an eye on our health. We've got half of our fuel remaining. Gibbons is out of ammo. We're going to want to reload. And as quickly as possible, we're going to want to get the auto reload guns for that particular area. For both of them, actually. Alright, we've got our new course correction in place for the bombing run. We've got more planes overhead. We're going to click on our bombardier now, getting ready. We're going to open our doors, select a bomb. Preparing to release the first bomb. Bomb is released. We did hit the target. McDonald's is out of ammo. He's going to reload. We are run out of electrical power. There is some damage done. We're going to move our engineer over. Gibbons, ready for round 2. Dropping second bomb. Excellent work. And now we move off. Looking to return to base. Our engineer is trying to repair our electrical systems. We've got our 2 gunners at the ready to go though. We cannot see anybody on radar. That's most unfortunate, but looks like we're in the clear from our enemy fighters that were nearby. I think our gunners took them out. We can go ahead and close the doors. And we can move Gibbons back up toward the front gunnery position. Excellent work. McKay can go back and take a seat. Go ahead and reload. Alright. So I believe we're A-okay here. No harm, no foul. We've got some slight damage done to the aircraft. Nothing too crazy here. Davies got the worst of it up at the front. Not too bad. Not too bad, I'd say, though, for a first round. Davies here. We're at low altitude already. We're going to go ahead and lower the gear soon once we get back to home base. There is home base right there. So we're marked. We're lowering the gear. And that should be the conclusion of a successful mission. London is ahead. We'll go ahead and fast forward now. The only thing that possibly could have been bad is if the fuel went down, but we still have enough fuel there to make our landing. Here we go. And touchdown. A successful landing. Mission success. Taught battery ammo dumps. Our enemy damage is down for the next 2 missions. Returned and repaired. Return to base bonus. No slow time bonus. And then the optional recon photos we took gained us an additional 1,000 pounds. So all told, we gained 3,080 pounds and 510 research points. We forgot to change the name of our plane, though, from Flak Magnet, so... whoops. Also, when you return from a mission, your crew will show status of returned, or MIA, or KIA, and then they will raise an experience. And as you can see here, Janet gained a new skill, Melvin gained 2 new skills, Boost and Lean. Boost increases the speed of the plane, Lean decreases the speed of the plane, but adds more time for our fuel. Don here got radio for recon, so he can get some information about flak ahead potentially, or other targets. And Julia and James both received focus, which better aim their guns when firing on an opposing force. And then Jane Gibbons managed to just return, so nothing extra there. There you go. There's your skill summary. We also unlocked a whole bunch of things, which is awesome. More headgear, more equipment for our plane. We can exit the debrief and call this a successful first mission. 9 enemy fighters were destroyed, 591 miles were flown, 2 targets destroyed, and 2,000 funds spent. What will our intrepid crew do on our next mission? Find out next time. Hey everyone, new game on the channel and a great way to include yourselves as well. Post your interest in the comments below. Enjoyed the video? Like it. Want more of this content? Subscribe and click that bell icon. And lastly, consider joining the channel as a member for an exclusive badge, emotes, and other perks. Until next time, this is J Square John Jeremy signing off, saying so long and take care.